Deepfake case is what's keeping you on here.
Yeah, so the only reason I'm stuck in Korea is because of this GIF of two people kissing.
Yes. So it's like unfair, malicious prosecution, you know?
Because the two people that are claiming I made a deepfake about them, which I never created any deepfake, somebody posted a deepfake in my Discord and I showed it to my stream with my phone like that.
So Johnny Somali walked into that courtroom like he was stepping onto a live stream, looked a whole judge right in the face, and still chose to tell a lie without even flinching. This man somehow took an already terrible situation and cranked it into something way worse, like he was trying to break his own record for bad decisions. The way he keeps spiraling in public has turned into one of the most unbelievable things the internet has watched all year, and every move he makes just gets more dramatic. His latest court date on October 29th didn't just go badly, it was total destruction. People expected chaos, but nobody expected this level of collapse. Johnny really walked in thinking he could charm, confuse, or out-talk a Korean judge the same way he tries to smooth talk his chat during streams, like he thought the same tricks would magically work everywhere. That confidence turned into shock real quick, and then things took an even wilder turn. The trial was supposed to include testimony from three major people: Johnny, his roommate Hank, and Bong Bong, the Korean streamer he created those deep fakes of. But Bong Bong didn't even show up for the court date. She was literally relaxing in Australia, enjoying her day, living stress-free. She even told her stream that her lawyer said she didn't have to attend at all, so she stayed put with zero hesitation. The whole situation flipped into pure chaos, and everyone watching was stunned at how fast everything unraveled. She straight up said, "I don't care, I don't want to waste my time for Johnny Somali." And she meant every word of it. Imagine being so disliked that even the person affected by your actions won't bother to show up in court because you're not worth the travel or the energy. That's not just an L, that's a whole legacy of being dismissed like background noise, but the court session still had to move forward. So the judge worked with whoever actually showed up, and this is where Johnny completely sank his own ship. According to legal experts and people who were actually sitting inside that courtroom, Johnny's testimony turned into a live demonstration of how to basically confess through bad lying while believing you're outsmarting everyone. It was the type of performance that makes you hold your breath because you can't believe someone would talk themselves into deeper trouble like that. From the moment he opened his mouth, he was dropping lies back to back like he thought quantity was going to confuse the judge. He kept repeating, "I don't know" and "I don't remember" to questions that were clearly tied to things he absolutely knew about. The judge wasn't buying any of it, and the room reportedly went quiet every time he tried to slide out of another answer like it was some kind of game. When they asked him about distributing those deep fakes on YouTube, he tried to jump behind this whole "the police already verified he didn't make them" angle, like that was supposed to magically erase everything. But that was pointless, because in Korea, distributing those videos is just as serious as making them in the first place. The law doesn't care if you weren't the original creator, you still get held responsible if you spread it. But Johnny kept clinging to that "I didn't make it" defense like it was a life jacket, even though everyone could see it wasn't making anything better. Then he actually tried to claim that Young Man, the Korean streamer, was the one who spread the deep fakes first, which was wild because everyone knows that's not true. There's literal video of Johnny on stream pulling up those deep fakes, saying, "Look, me and my Korean," showing them off like it was some kind of flex. He was bragging, laughing, and embarrassing Bong Bong in front of thousands of viewers. But sure, Johnny blamed the person affected like that was going to help anything. And somehow he made things even worse. He told the court that Young Man leaked his address, but then immediately said he didn't even know his own address, so he couldn't confirm if it was leaked or not. The whole room reportedly froze, because how do you accuse someone of exposing your location when you don't even recognize your own location? The judge was sitting right there, hearing him contradict himself in real time. But the real highlight of this disaster was when they asked him about the baton incident, the moment he called the scariest day of his life. Suddenly, he couldn't remember anything important. He couldn't remember who brought the baton, couldn't explain the sequence of events, and couldn't clearly describe what happened at all. His memory only vanished when the questions mattered, which looked way too convenient. Meanwhile, video evidence shows Hank was the one who brought that baton, not Young Man. So Johnny sitting there acting clueless just made everything look even more suspicious. Johnny's own roommate was the one who brought that baton to the whole confrontation. So either Johnny's memory suddenly gets selective whenever the truth hurts, or he's straight up trying to cover for his friend. Either way, the judge wasn't falling for any of it. And then, this part is unreal, Johnny tried to pull out video evidence right there on the spot, like he was showing a clip he saved on his phone. He really acted like a courtroom works the same way as dropping a TikTok link during a live stream. But that's not how any court courtroom runs. You can't just whip out surprise evidence that should have been submitted through proper legal channels months ago. That's not bold, that's not strategic, that's straight up unprepared. It came off less like a power move and more like someone who didn't understand the basics of how trials work. As expected, the judge kept pointing out how Johnny's story wasn't lining up. They kept pressing him with questions he clearly didn't want to answer, so the whole thing turned into a professional-level roasting session. Every time he tried to dodge, the judge hit him with another question that exposed another hole in his story. He was getting grilled from every angle, and everyone in that room could feel the tension. But Johnny still wasn't done embarrassing himself. After all that contradicting, dodging, and confusion, he actually stood up and asked the judge for an expedited trial like he had earned some kind of special privilege. He literally said, "I have family and obligations in America. I want the right to a speedy trial," like that was supposed to magically fix the mess he created. I'm sorry? What? This is the same man whose own parents have publicly distanced themselves from him. His dad literally told him to stop flying around the world causing trouble with people. And Johnny himself has said on stream that his parents are more upset with him than anyone online ever could be. His family has been keeping their distance for a long time, and he knows it. So for him to stand in that courtroom and claim he urgently needs to get back to his family was not just a lie. It was straight up manipulation. It came off like he thought he could play the sympathy card and the judge would just roll with it. But she saw right through that act instantly. The judge calmly denied his request and then dropped a truth bomb that hit harder than anything he heard all day. She told him that other foreign defendants have waited in Korea for their trials for up to 2 years and that Johnny is not special in any way, so he's going to wait just like everyone else. Hearing that was one of the cleanest judicial shutdowns ever delivered in a courtroom. She basically told him, without even raising her voice, "I don't care about your feelings, your fake obligations, or whatever American attitude you think works here. You're staying until this case is done." It was sharp, direct, and honestly iconic. And then there's Johnny's lawyer, who somehow made everything even more embarrassing. This man spent 30 whole minutes arguing about a charge Johnny had already pleaded guilty to. 30 minutes! Instead of focusing on anything that could help his client, he tried to debate the Lauderworld incident by saying the ride was only shut down for 10 to 15 minutes, not 30 like the prosecutor claimed. It was such a weak argument that people watching couldn't tell if he was confused, unprepared, or just desperately grabbing at anything he could find. It came off like both Johnny and his lawyer were running on fumes and bad decisions at this point. Except that whole argument was pointless because in Korea, obstruction of business doesn't depend on how long something was stopped. If you disrupt normal operations for any amount of time, even 30 seconds, you're guilty. And Johnny didn't just disrupt things a little. He shut down that ride, dragged security into the mess, and made lewd comments in front of families trying to enjoy their day. That's straight up obstruction. No debate needed. So of course the judge shut down that argument instantly. But here's where Johnny's situation goes from bad to completely catastrophic. Not only did he lose every single argument he tried, not only did the judge deny his request for a speedy trial, but his next court date got pushed all the way to February 11th, 2026. That's more than 3 months away. And that's not even the main trial. That's just the date they hope Bong Bong will show up to testify. And if she doesn't, they'll delay it again, and again, and again. Because here's the thing, Bong Bong is living her life. She's already shown she's not stressing over this case at all. She skipped this date to chill in Australia, and next time she might be posted up in Peru, Bali, London, anywhere she feels like going. Every time she doesn't show, the whole trial gets pushed back even further, leaving Johnny stuck in Korea way longer than he ever expected. And let's be real, everybody's thinking the same thing. If she keeps skipping on purpose, those delays could stack up like crazy. Johnny could be sitting there waiting forever while she's globe hopping and sipping iced coffee on a beach somewhere. But alright, let's break down the math on how long this could drag out, because the numbers get wild fast. Johnny has already been stuck in Korea for over a year, and now his next court date isn't until February. Another 3 months added to the wait. Even if Bong Bong actually shows up this time, they still have to go through closing arguments, more testimony, and then the final sentencing. Legal experts are saying this whole situation could easily stretch into summer 2026 or even later. That means Johnny could be sitting in Korea for 2 years minimum, maybe even longer, and on top of all that, he might still end up serving prison time afterward. All this chaos came from him refusing to apologize, choosing to lie non-stop, and thinking he could outsmart an entire legal system that doesn't play around. And the funniest part, even his so-called tough roommate Hank is cracking under pressure. During the trial, Hank asked to testify in a private room because he was scared of people watching. This is the same guy who tries to act intimidating on stream, the same one who walked into a confrontation carrying a baton and talking big, and he needed a safe space just because a few spectators were in the courtroom. You can't make this up. These two really thought they could walk into a Korean courtroom and intimidate a judge the same way they tried to intimidate random people on the street. Instead, they got humbled in the most embarrassing way possible. And after all that, when someone tried to interview Johnny outside the courtroom, instead of showing any kind of remorse or even basic self-awareness, he snapped and started insulting people's families like that was going to change his situation. That's what he does when he's losing. Lash out, blame everyone else, and hope it distracts people from the mess he created. So where does this leave Johnny now? He's basically stuck in Korea with no clear end in sight. His maximum sentence is still sitting at 12 years, and even though his minimum dropped a little after settling things with young man, he's still facing serious time behind bars. And every single day he spends there, he somehow finds a new way to make things worse for himself. The Korean legal system has already shown they're not rushing anything for him. They don't care about his so-called family obligations, they don't care that he's tired of being stuck there, and they definitely aren't letting him talk or scheme his way out of the mess he created. This is what happens when you spend months harassing people, disrespecting an entire culture, and acting like the rules don't apply to you. Eventually, life catches up, and when it does, it doesn't show mercy. It tackles you straight to the ground and makes sure you stay there until you learn something. And honestly, he earned every second of this. This isn't just justice. This is karma doing its job with full force. Watching someone who spent years building a career off chaos, disrespect, and reckless behavior finally face real consequences isn't just satisfying. It's poetic. It feels like the universe finally hit the balance button. So yeah, Johnny Somali just found out he's not leaving Korea anytime soon, and the judge made sure he got that message loud and clear in the most humiliating way possible. This is what the consequences of your actions look like, and he walked straight into it. Hope he packed extra clothes because he's going to be there a long while. But what do you think? Does Johnny deserve to be stuck there for years? Drop your thoughts below. I read every comment. And if you enjoyed the breakdown, make sure to like, subscribe, share, and comment. And I'll see you in the next one.